Hey guys, so today I wanted to do something a little bit different and just sit down and chat, I guess, have a little story time with you. So that's why you have a different background because this is the background of my couch. And if you're sitting here with me on my couch, this is what you would see. So yeah, also, I'm sorry about my voice and everything that I'm about to tell you. So, I guess this is the story of the first time I fell in love. So, it all happened. Uh, how old was I? I was about 13. I was about 13, 14 when this happened. Pretty young. I wasn't expecting it. My mom got married to a traveling baseball player. He's a nice guy, so she wanted to travel with him, and I just decided it would be best if I moved back with my dad. So I did that. I moved back in with my dad, and a couple weeks into a new school because it was the middle of the school year, so it was the semester break, so I went back in the following semester. So I just missed a semester of that high school, which wasn't a big deal. It was a little weird being a new student coming in the middle of the year, but as far as academics, I was okay. So I got close with a group of friends. There was a couple guys and a couple girls, and they were all just so normal and sweet and just welcoming. They were really welcoming. So one day there was just these group of kids, and they just walked in from the cafeteria door that leads outside, not like the hallways or anything, which I thought was kind of strange that they didn't come from another class like the rest of us, but it was whatever. I didn't think too much into it until like 3 weeks later or so, something around there. Anyways, so they walked in, and I hadn't seen them before. It was weird because I had been there for it was about 2 weeks at this point. I hadn't been there too long, but I'd been there long enough to like recognize faces, and they all looked similar but like different at the same time. So I asked who they were, and the group that I was sitting with, they like got weird about it. Like, why are you asking about these people? But they told me they were all adopted from the same family, but they weren't actually related, which is weird. So I guess they like dated each other. Like, that's a little weird, but I guess if they're adopted, it's not illegal or anything of that nature. So, anyways, moving on. The next day, actually, the next day I got transferred out of my class into a science lab because my transcript didn't come through, but for the first 2 weeks they needed to get me into something so I can start school on time. But now I was in my proper classes. I was in a new science lab, and one of the kids that I had seen in the cafeteria the day before and I had asked about, which was really weird, he was in that class, and he was really pretty, but he just looked so mean and weird and alone, and that was total turn off, and I was just weirded out by it. So, anyways, moving on, he ended up being my partner. Like, it was the only seat left in that stupid class. So, I started to talk to him there, but like he didn't really talk to me, and he was like, actually, the first day he did not talk to me at all. Like, he was just staring at me, and like it was so weird and strange. And so then he just stopped showing up to school, and I was just like, what? And so like I noticed like that the whole family just didn't come to school. and it was weird. So, moving on, he showed up a week later or so, and he apologized and introduced himself to me, and he was really nice, and we did a project together because we were partners, and it was just a good time. And from then we just started talking, and he wasn't as weird. He wasn't as weird as like I had thought that he was before, and everything. So we started hanging out for a while, and then, but only for like at school. We didn't really hang out, but we would talk. Like he had my number and everything. So it was. What the hell is going on outside? Okay. Anyways, prom was coming up. I wasn't really excited about it or anything, but my friends were. So we went to town because our town is really small and it's like a suburb. So we went to town to get prom dresses. But I really just wanted to go to this bookstore that was located in the same town as the dress shop that they wanted to be in. So we went there, and I wasn't really planning on going to prom just because like I didn't have like anybody in mind to go to prom with, and it just wasn't my thing. Not really a dancer, so yeah, I didn't really want to go. So I asked. Well, I ended up going to the bookstore alone because they didn't want to go. They wanted to keep on trying dresses on, which is fine. So we were gonna meet up later, but it got really dark at the bookstore, and I was like on my way back, and these guys, like, I had no idea who they were, but they were just hooting and hollering at me, and it was just really weird, and it was so uncomfortable because they got so close to me, and we were in an alley, mind you that, and then this car comes out of nowhere, and the guy from my class, he gets out, and he, like, shoos these guys away and tells me to get in the car, and so we do. And it was so strange because we were in the alley, and I'm like, how the heck did you find me? But he was just so worked up, and at that moment, I was not really scared. I was just like confused as to how he knew where I was at, or like how to react to these guys. So he asked to take me out to dinner, but I was already meeting my friends that I went to get the dresses with for dinner, but I didn't realize how late it was. So whenever we were walking into the restaurant, they were coming out, and they were just like, oh, they had told me before that they thought that this guy was like really cute. And so they were just like kind of oohing and awing at the fact that like I was with him, which was really funny. But so he offered me to eat, and I just told the girls that like I would just catch up with them later, or like they would see me tomorrow or whatever. And I went to eat with them, or with the boy, and I was just like curious as to like what was going on and how he knew where I was at and everything. And I asked if he was following me, and he straight up told me yes. And I was like, that's so creepy, but it was fine. I didn't really like care by it, which was weird and out of character. So we ate, and I asked how he knew how to react, and I just simply said it's like he knew what those guys were thinking. And he said, so what if I did? Told me that he knew how to read minds, and he went on the restaurant and told me what all these people were thinking, and he told me that he couldn't hear my thoughts, and that was why he needed to be around me. And so I was just like, oh, okay. So I went home and everything. He took me home, and it was all fine. And so I did some research, and I found some things that just everything was adding up so quickly that there was just no denying this next thing. And one day, it was a couple days after, because we had a 3-day weekend, and I was on my way back to school, but I seen him in the parking lot, and our parking lot, it's like the parking lot, the school, and then there's these woods. And so instead of going into the school, I went into the woods, and naturally he followed me into the woods. And I told him that I knew what he was, and he wasn't even confused by it. Like, I feel like if somebody took me into the woods and told me that they knew what I was, I would be like, what? But he wasn't. He just was just like, say it. And so I did. I told him he was a vampire, and he didn't say anything. Yeah, he said, well, I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 17, and I was just like, how long have you been 17? He said a while. And so I told him that he was a vampire. That's when I told him. And he said, ask me what I eat. But I wasn't scared. I was in love with him. Edward Cullen. Thank you for watching me tell you Twilight. It was the best time of my life, even though I'm deathly ill. Trying not to laugh that whole entire time was so hard. It was insane. Oh my gosh, you remember freaking Twilight? That was such a good movie. I have such good memories watching that movie, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed me telling you about it. In case you forgot, you have a freaking refresher. So there's that for you. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe and watch me because I'm funny. Even when I'm sick as a dog, I'm still funny. So yeah, I hope to see you guys next week and all that jazz. You can follow me on all my social media. That is linked in the description box. If you miss me in between videos, you can just keep up with me there. Yeah, so I will just talk to you later because this is just bad. I'm so sorry. Bye.